Hello there and welcome. Our second session on emptiness. Sit up straight, close your eyes, relax into this moment. Get a sense of what feels like your body. It feels like it's breathing. We label it my body. That means someone is the owner of this body. Now get a sense of the feeling of your mind. And also get a sense of how your mind is feeling this moment. That which feels like your mind, it's something that we label my mind. Someone is the owner of this mind. Me. Have a deep sigh. Keep your eyes closed. I'm going to read you a few pieces from the Avadutta Gita, the song of the ever free. I am not this body, which is composed of earth, water, fire, air and space, and yet clinging to this body, I desire happiness. Pleasure and pain alike come and go in the body. Since I am not the body, and since in my true nature there is no ebb and flow, I am always the same, serene, peaceful. Likewise, enjoyment and misery have their beginning and end in the mind. Again, since I am not the mind, and since my true nature has neither beginning nor end, I am always the same, serene, peaceful. Let pleasure and pain, enjoyment and misery remain in the body or the mind. It matters nothing to me, for I am the divine, the supreme reality, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Something more. I have no body, nor am I bodiless. I have no senses, mind, or intellect. How can I say that I have attachment or detachment? I am by nature blissful and free. And one more. I have no father, no mother, no family. I belong to no race. Never was I born, and never shall I die. I am by nature blissful and free. Have a sigh. And then open your eyes. So I'll be reading you lots of different quotes from different teachers, and all you need to do is get used to the ideas. Maybe reflect on them, see how you react to them, where you get stuck perhaps, what you like and what seems to make sense to you. And then perhaps come back to these sessions a month or two later, particularly if you've been practicing with stretching and breath work. You'll have been changing over those 2 months. Then you come back, hear the ideas again, they start to make more sense perhaps, they start to slot into place. Something I wanted to remind you about is, if you know about the playlists in this YouTube channel, you'll see that separate from the mind training series, previously recorded was an Examining the Mind series. I think there's about 6 sessions there. That was a precursor to the mind training program. And if you want to get more explanation of how the egoic mind constructs itself and its reality, then that should be quite helpful. Okay, close your eyes again. Here's something from one of my favorites, I Am That. Keep in mind, I reread this every morning and night for years, waiting for the penny to drop. As long as you cling to the idea that only what has name and shape exists, the ultimate reality we are talking about will appear to you non-existing. When you understand that names and shapes are hollow shells without any content whatsoever, and what is real is nameless and formless, pure energy of life and light of consciousness, you will be at peace, immersed in the deep silence of reality. And more, your being a person is due to the illusion of space and time. You imagine yourself to be at a certain point, occupying a certain volume. Your personality is due to your self-identification with the body. Your thoughts and feelings exist in succession. They have their span in time and make you imagine yourself, because of memory, as having duration. In reality, time and space exist in you. You do not exist in them. Have a sigh. Okay, where do we go from here? First, we start with the I. meditating on yourself first. Through one, all are known. Through one, all are seen. Since it is the individual person who undergoes pleasure and pain, makes trouble, and accumulates karma, all the noise and mess being made by the self, analysis should begin with yourself. Then, when you understand that this person is without inherent existence, you can extend this realization to the things that you enjoy, undergo, and make use of. In this sense, the person is principle. Now, this is from His Holiness's crucial book, How to See Yourself as You Really Are. This is hitting right on the nail of the head of this topic. So try and hang in there with these teachings. Now I'll read you what he says, what he's teaching us about how the I appears. The first step, identifying the target. Usually, no matter what appears to our minds, it seems to exist from its own side, independent of thought. When we pay attention to an object, whether it be yourself, another person, body, mind, or a material thing, we accept how it appears as if this is its final, inner, real condition. This can be clearly seen at times of stress, such as when someone else criticizes you for something you have not done. You suddenly think very strongly, I didn't do that, and you might even shout this at the accuser. How does the I appear to your mind at that moment? How does this I that you value and cherish so much seem to exist? How are you apprehending it? By reflecting on these questions, you can get a sense of the way the mind naturally and innately apprehends I as existing from its own side, inherently. Let's take another example. When there is something important you were supposed to do and you discover that you forgot to do it, you can get angry at your own mind. Oh, my awful memory. When you get angry at your own mind, the I that is angry and the mind at which you are angry appear to be separate from each other. The same thing happens when you get upset with your body or a part of your body. The I that is angry seems to have its own being in and of itself, distinct from the body at which you are angry. On such occasions, you can observe how the I seems to stand by itself, as if it is self-instituting, as if it is established by way of its own character. Sometimes the I will seem to exist in the context of the body. Sometimes it will seem to exist in the context of the mind. Sometimes it will seem to exist in the context of feelings, discriminations, or other factors. At the end of noticing a variety of modes of appearance, you will come to identify an I that exists in its own right, that exists inherently, that from the start is self-established, existing undifferentiatedly with mind and body, which seem to be mixed like milk and water. Open your eyes. Have a sigh. Now, let's look for this I. The I is either the same as the mind-body or separate from the mind-body. It can't be both, and it can't be anything else. So, is the I the same as the mind-body? Well, if it was the same as the mind-body, it would be two things, because the mind and the body are two things. If it was the same as the mind-body, it could not say, this is my body, this is my mind. Well, that must mean that it's separate. But if it is separate, how could we find it separate from your mind and body? For example, when your body dies, if we crack open your head, will we find an I, a me person? No. So the I exists only through thought. It is merely imputed by thought. There is no actual substantial I existing inherently of itself. It exists purely through imagination, constructed by the mind, imputed by thought. We cannot find it existing inherently of itself. It is not a real and solid thing. Close your eyes. Now the same exists for every person that you meet. All your problems arise because you have defined and therefore limited yourself. When you do not think yourself to be this or that, all conflict ceases. You have enclosed yourself in time and space, squeezed yourself into the span of a lifetime and the volume of a body, and thus created the innumerable conflicts of life and death, pleasure and pain, hope and fear. You cannot be rid of problems without abandoning illusion. And one final piece. The main point to grasp is that you have projected onto yourself a world of your own imagination, based on memories, on desires and fears, and that you have imprisoned yourself in it. Break the spell and be free. have a sigh. And then open your eyes. How's it feeling so far? What I do when I hear these types of teachings, I think these people have a lot of experience, a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom about the nature of the mind. And most of them have done a great deal of practice, years of practice. So it would be good for me to listen. And if I don't understand yet, I may understand more over time as my exposure to these ideas increases, as my practice continues. And what I've found so far is that these ideas are becoming clearer and clearer as my mind becomes clearer. And that's what the teachers tell us, that it will work that way. Okay, that'll do for today. Thank you very much.